This is Troxus from Whack Gaming, and today I'm going to bring you an overview of the Paladin class. I know I did this. I did an overview and a talent video before, but a lot has changed since then. That was over a month ago into the class, so I'm going to go over talents and abilities. Whip it all in one video. So let's go over the talents first. This is for Retribution Paladins, specifically focused on PvP. For the first tier, we took Long Arm of Law. It's really the best one that you should take all the time. Whenever you Judgment, you increase your speed by 45% for 3 seconds. Judgment's on a 5.6 second cooldown. So basically, half the time you're going to be running 45% faster because you're going to use Judgment whenever it's off CD. The other one is Pursuit of Justice, which gives you more movement speed for each holy power, and Speed of Light, which just increases your movement speed for a short amount of time. Even though they lowered the cooldown from a minute to 45 seconds, still isn't worth it. And they'll probably have to either nerf Long Arm of Law or buff these because people will just keep choosing Long Arm. Maybe Holy will choose Pursuit of Justice, I'm not sure. And then tier 3, the second tier, Burden of Guilt. I'll take Burden of Guilt, which basically every time I Judgment, it reduces their movement speed by 50% for 12 seconds. So, since Judgment's only a 5 second cooldown, I can always have that up. So it's like a perma 50% slow. It's annoying. Really good. Repentance, they nerfed this. It used to be a cast time, but it had no cooldown. Now it has a 15-second cooldown and a 1.5-second cast time, and a 30-yard range. So it's still not it's not as good now, but it's still really good for arenas. Yeah, still pretty good. Fist of Justice basically replaces your Hodge and to give you Fodge, and gives you a 6-second stun, same thing, but 20-yard range? Yeah, that gives you 10 more yards range for the stun, and it's 30 seconds cooldown instead of a minute, but it replaces it. You know, these are just better. I mean, this is good if you're dueling. If you're dueling melee, this is kind of good if you're dueling melee. 1v1 versus melee, this is good. It's pretty much the only time it will be good. If you're ever in another situation, I mean, that's the only time you would use that. I mean, any other time you would use Repentance or Burden of Guilt. Then tier 3, they made a few changes to this to make the choices, harder to decide. It's still pretty easy though. Sacred Shield used to be costs mana and increases the critical effect chance on your Flash of Light for a crit heal. Now it doesn't. Now all it does is it doesn't cost mana, 6-second cooldown, so it has a cooldown now. It used to not have a cooldown. And it absorbs 14k. That's it. 14k is chicken shit at level 90. So it's not good at all. They make changes to this. Eternal Flame. They changed it. They buffed it by about 100%, and they had to replace Word of Glory. So basically they're saying, hey, you want an instant heal or do you want a hawk? And this hawk can be dispelled, so it is currently not that good. And it still doesn't heal for that much. So Eternal Flame, not worth it right now. The one that I'm taking, I think the best one is Selfless Healer. Every time you Judgment, basically the cost and the cast time of Flash of Light is reduced. And once you use Judgment 3 times, it will stack up, so it's an instant cast and it costs nothing. And Flash of Light hits for a lot now. Flash of Light, 40k. Flash of Light, 41k. Crits for 80k, and when I have my burst up, I can crit for 140k with it. So it's really good. The next tier, tier 60, 4th tier, isn't it? I mean, like, its choices are obvious. The first one's Hand of Purity. Places a hand on a friendly target, reducing their damage of the damage of harmful periodic effects by 70% for 6 seconds. Players may only have one hand up on them per paladin at any one time. It's weird. So it reduces that damage by 70%. I mean, like, it's good against warlocks. Very, Very situational. Very. Unbreakable Spirit. When your Divine Shield, Divine Protection, or Lay on Hands are on cooldown, basically every holy power you spend will reduce the cooldown by 1%. So if you do haul off a ton of Templar's Verdicts, you can get your Lay on Hands and Divine Shield up in a minute, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes instead of 5. Clemency. You can use all your hands twice before incurring this cooldown. There's really good, because it doesn't work like charge does, where you, like with double time, where like if you charge and then you don't use a charge again, it will like incur its 20-second cooldown. If I use Freedom right now, it will have one charge left, but it will start bringing back the second charge. This is really good. 2 freedoms before incurring the cooldown is insane. Also, it works for hand of protection. Really awesome. The only thing is it puts forbearance on them, so you have to wait a minute in between. But this thing has a 5-minute cooldown now. They call it a recharge here. That's weird. Instead of a cooldown, that has to be a bug. But so you can do it twice before, you know. Well, you can do it twice before it actually hits its 5-minute cooldown, which is awesome. Then for the second to last tier, we have all our bursting abilities. Divine Purpose, which is our proc, though it's not really good compared to any other stuff now, even though they buffed the chance from 15 to 20. So it sucks that you don't have the proc, but stuff's better. Sanctified Wrath basically makes it so your Avenging Wrath lasts 30 seconds instead of 15, and your Hammer Wrath has a 3-second cooldown instead of a 6-second cooldown. I mean, that's really good, but not compared to the other one, which is Holy Avenger. 2-minute cooldown, and it's Zealotry. So everything you use that generates Holy Power will generate 3 charges. But it's not like Zealotry is on live, because Zealotry can only get that effect off of Crusader Strike on live, because that's the only thing that generates it. So it'd be every 4 seconds. But now you can generate off of Crusader Strike, Judgment, Exorcism, or the thing I talked about in my burst macro video, Hammer of Wrath, because you can pop Avenging Wrath and Holy Avenger at the same time, so your Hammer of Wrath not only do a butt ton of damage, but they also give you 3 Holy Power for a full Templar's Verdict. That's how you burst. Okay, level 90 talents. Holy Prism, it's okay. I haven't really tested it that much. It's it just does some damage and heals you a little bit. Ooh, so special. Light's Hammer, little AoE thing, really good for tanks, not good for, maybe good for RBGs, not good for arenas, not good for normal PvP. Execution Sentence, it's a dot. A dot that if you put it on an enemy, it will dot them for a bit, and if you put it on an ally, it will dot heal them for a bit. It's just a solid dot damage / heal. It's good. Alright, now let's go over the priority list. Yeah, not the rotation, the priority list, because that's how it works in PvP. There is never a rotation. I've pretty much been dueling mostly melee lately, so this is mostly going to be for dueling melee, but you know, you can still apply it to ranged. So what you want to do is now, if you don't know yet, which some of you probably won't know, have not known yet, is that we can have more than 3 Holy Power now. See those little 2 things on the bottom? Those are for the extra bit, so we can generate more. So let's say we're hitting on this target dummy, right? And we use Judgment, Exorcism, Crusader Strike. We have 3 Holy Power now, but wait, no, not anymore. For Crusader Strike, 3 Holy Power. Let's just say, for the sake of testing, that now this procs. So we use it, and see the little head it fills under? It's not wasted. Now we Templar's Verdict, and those 2 come up here. So what you can do with this mechanic is, if you have 3 Holy Power, but your builders are up, you need to get your builders on CD. So you do that, and then you use Templar's Verdict. Helps a ton. So for PvP, normally what I would do is jump around the opponent, get Inquisition up, and then jump in and out, either Oh, I accidentally popped Bubble. Bubble's a big sun thing now. Jump in and out, pretty much just Templar's Verdict whenever you can. Paladin PvP is very jumpy, just for 82k there. Very, very jumpy. And then there's my instant heal. I heal for 83k. And let's say you need to go on the defensive. So since we apply our slow, we would just kite them around because every time we judgment, we increase our speed and reduce theirs. And then watch for 83k. So you can do this little strategy, and then there's the instant. So with this little thing, you can kite you can kite melee for a long time. Okay. So, and then like when you have an opening for an opening CD, you use execution sentence. So the priority is, since you have extra holy power now, is use your builders whenever they're up, unless you have full holy power. But now since it's 5, that's really hard for it to happen. And whenever your builders aren't up, spam Templar's Verdict or Word of Glory, depending on the situation. You're also going to want to utilize Blinding Light now, which is our 6-second disorient with a 2-minute cooldown that we get at level 87. Very useful. It's a CC. It's nice that Paladins have a CC. They changed Devotion Aura a little bit. It reduces magical damage taken by 20% now. And it has a 3-minute cooldown, and it makes you immune to silence and interrupt. So if you really need to get some flash of lights off, and you're being owned by melee, you can pop this and use some uninterruptible heals. So the thing I'm going to show you now is what you would do for your burst. So I already showed some of this in the burst video, but I'll go quickly over it again. Is you're going to want to use Avenging Wrath, your badge, and Holy Avenger. You can throw Guardian of the Ancient Kings in there, but I don't like to throw 5-minute cooldowns into a burst macro sometimes. I mean, like, for a really OMG burst macro, yeah, but this burst macro can be used every 3 minutes, which is pretty darn useful. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go and start the opener, jump around, get 3 holy power, do that, and get Inquisition up, then pop the burst, use a Hammer of Wrath, use a Templar's Verdict, use a Hammer of Wrath. Use the Hammer of Wrath again, use Templar's Verdict since we're getting 3 holy power per one. Use Hammer of Wrath again, Templar's Verdict. And you just keep doing that. And now that's up, but we still have some time left on wings since their durations are a little bit off. So yeah, that's the burst macro. If you really want to see how well it works, then I would suggest you go watch the burst video. The thing is you don't need crits to burst with this. I could get a guy down. Really fast, and I won't need to crit. I would just need these CDs up, and I won't need a proc. So it's very, very, very controlled burst. So let's see. Is there anything else left to go over? They got rid of all the rest of our heals besides Flash of Light. So we use Flash of Light now. They changed Flash of Light a little bit. They buffed Brett heals recently, and nerfed our Crusader Strike. So yeah, and every time you use Word of Glory, it increases your damage by 3% per one. So if you have the Glyph, that's what I got to go for, Glyphs. Okay, so there's not that many useful Glyphs so far. There's a few that you can switch in and out, and I'll show you them right now. Glyph of Avenging Wrath, which I have in. Whenever Avenging Wrath is active, heal for 1% of my maximum health every 2 seconds. It's just useful when you're bursting. Every 2 seconds I get a little bit of health back. Even if it's only 1%, it just helps reinforce that burst. Glyph of Blinding Light, instead of being CC'd for 6 seconds, it knocks them down for 3. So, this is used like if you're in a team with the Warlock or something, because Blinding Light is very, 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 very touchy with damage coming off. Like the tiniest little touch of damage will break it. It's really hard not to break. So you would get this if you want to knock them down instead. Some people use it, I don't. Divine Protection. Right now, your Divine Protection got changed from live. It's now 40% magic production for 10 seconds, which is pretty useful. Only on a 1 minute cool. Protection is 40. It's 20% all protection, magical and physical. Then go for Divine Storm. Your Divine Storm also heals you for 5% of your maximum health. Yeah, go for Flashlight. When you heal a target with Flashlight, it increases your next heal done to that target within 7 seconds by 10%. Good for when you're healing an ally. Here's another good one. Oh, wait. No, that's a bad one. It's horrible. Okay. Yeah, that's really bad. Wait, hold on. I want to test this for a second. This would be funny. So how much is this going to heal for? And then if I do a Templar's Verdict. So Templar's Verdict is going to hit for 45k. And Wand is going to hit for... okay, so this is a really weird macro. Basically, a really weird glyph. Takes your Word of Glory and makes it so it doesn't heal, but it deals damage. Okay. It's kind of weird. I don't know. Inquisition basically increases duration, but lowers the damage bonus by 15%. Not good. Lowers your damage by 15%, basically. If you want it only, but I guess if you want to keep Inquisition up without worrying about it. Protector of the Innocent. When you use Word of Glory to heal another target, it heals you for 20% of the amount. Nice for arenas. Here's another really good glyph that you should always have. Glyph of Templar's Verdict. You take 10% less damage for 6 seconds after dealing damage with Templar's Verdict. Solid. Glyph of Word of Glory, the one that increases damage after you use it. And then there's just some fun glyphs. The fun glyphs that I use, my Judgment Criticals shoot like this little beam down from the sky. My Seal of Truth animation is the Seal of Blood animation. And my wings pick 4 wings, so I'm a butterfly. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want to see how the burst works and everything, I suggest you go to the burst video. It's on the channel. So, please like, subscribe, all that stuff. This has been Troxus from White Gaming. See you later.